Does saying like, and mean that you're stupid? This might be an obvious answer to a lot of people, which is that no, there is no indication of intelligence, IQ, the ability to solve complex problems, or even emotional intelligence when it comes to the use of filler words. However, obviously, it does affect people's perception. Why was I inspired to make this video? Because, like a lot of things, I love a good hater. On my last video, is racism cool again? LOL, which I have since deleted because people started to get really mean and I'm sensitive. Anyway, this is the hate comment that I received on there that motivated this video. At Tanner Wall, 8576. I'm going to read this in a very funny voice because I think comments like this don't deserve to get taken seriously and are kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to read it in a ridiculous voice. Don't ever get on the internet preaching about intelligence and you can't even produce two sentences together without saying like and They also said, I think you should use the work like the person criticizing my ability to communicate can't spell online, which is worse. I think you should use the word like more often when you speak. Like. Say it a few more times. Now, if you see me being very slow in this video, it is because I am making a concerted effort not to say like or because I do say like a lot. That is the one sliver of truth in this hate comment, is that I do say like quite a lot. Like a lot. And the reason why I said it a lot in that last video is because it was a very stream of consciousness conversation with no edits, as is this video. I will not be editing it because I actually prefer to have stream of conscious conversations because it forces me to contend with my own thoughts and to be able to communicate effectively in real time, impromptu, because it actually helps you prepare for situations where you might be called upon, you might get crazy question thrown at you, maybe in an interview, maybe at a conference, you never know. Life is but improv, and I want to keep it that way. I want to make sure that I'm as prepared as possible. And I also have an itch to create, and I don't have a lot of bandwidth to edit, so there's that too. But anyways, back to the original thesis. Does it mean that you are stupid? We've already established no. But we have proven that people are affected. Their perception of you is affected when you use filler words. But is that still holding water? I did find some interesting research. So there actually is recent research by Jonathan Lee, who's a PhD, he's a fourth-year linguistics PhD at UPenn, and he's currently studying disfluency. Disfluency is essentially what he defines as interruptions in speech. So basically filler words like mostly and A lot of these studies don't talk about like. I prefer like as the filler word, but I mean, I'm a Valley girl, and I'm proud of it. I'm a proud Valley girl. Anyways, the study, he is currently recruited 1,000 people, and he's starting to find what he's essentially trying to measure is whether using disfluency or using these filler words, whether it negatively impacts perception and trust. He's actually starting to find that it can be used positively because it is signaling to people when you say, it is signaling to people that you are thinking through your thoughts. Now, this is my own conjecture being added in here. I think in an age of authenticity, people really being turned off by very contrived, perfected behaviors. I mean, we're starting to see, we've been hearing people say like, she seems performative, he seems performative. People want authenticity, people want a little bit more rawness in particularly people in the public sphere. So I can see that holding a lot of water, right? That perception is starting to change, starting to get a little murky. You're starting to see okay, you're using and you're a pretty significant person or you're a person of authority. It's kind of nice to see that you are working through your thoughts. There was actually some research from 1995 that I saw, where they did two studies. So first they took a questionnaire of people that just wanted to get their perceptions. And in the second questionnaire, the second study, they had people listen to things, listen to audio, and then got questionnaires to get their perceptions. The second study, they manipulated the rates. So they replaced it with silence, or they were eliminated. I'm trying. They actually found on the subjective ratings of the speaker that filled pauses created a better impression than silent pauses. But no pauses proved best of all. So basically, yes, when you say a lot of filler words and a lot of ums and uhs, even in this there was a 2019 study, granted this one was around 26 people, so the sample size was small. I'm going to butcher their names. Yoon Jung, Juho Lee, Yuna Kang. The use of fillers by conversational agents are perceived as less intelligent or less likable in task-oriented conversations, but this was different. This was perceived differently in social-oriented conversations. So essentially, for people in positions of authority, in task-oriented environments, it's not perceived well. But in social situations, it is perceived well. But this new research being done by this UPenn student will be really interesting. It hasn't been fully released. But he is finding that it's kind of, in some situations, it might validate some of this prior research, but I'm very interested to see what will come from this. But I guess to sort of round this out and to conclude, no, it does not indicate stupidity. It doesn't make you less intelligent if you have filler words, use have a speech impediment. It does impact people's perception of you for sure, but it looks like it's more in professional contexts than in social situations. Granted, I'm a girl online. I'm a girl making a YouTube video. So I'm not trying to run for presidency. I'm not trying to run for any sort of political office, local, municipal, federal, nothing. I'm just a girl on YouTube that has ideas and wants to create. I don't know what yet, but I'm figuring it out. But I will tell you what is stupid. Per my last video, racists. That is stupid. If you rely on racism as an ideology, if you rely on racism as a method of evaluating human beings, you are stupid. You are stupid. If that is your primary way of evaluating human beings, based on character, based on intelligence, based on competence, you are stupid. You are stupid. I don't have the research studies for that, but you're stupid and you should seek help. Anyways, have a really good day.